Performers Pod is presented by Blue Movie PR. Your brand is more than just content, it's an experience. At Blue Movie PR, adult entertainment talent is supported with public relations that respect both the art and the person behind it. Led by Jim Steele, Blue Movie PR builds compelling narratives that connect performers with new audiences and help solidify long-term legacy. With a boutique talent first oriented approach and tiered pricing designed to meet creators at every stage of their career, Blue Movie PR is focused on entirely building your success. Let's tell your story together. Hello, welcome everyone to a special AVN Week episode of the Performers Pod. I'm Chelsea Poe, and today I'm here with 2026 AVN Award nominee Nina Nova. So many N's in a row. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me back. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
So,
second year in a row you're on. First off, congrats on your nominations.
thank you.
Last year you were up for hottest newcomer, right?
Yeah, I was up for hottest newcomer, hottest all-girl creator collab, and
Yep.
one of my works was up for best niche collection.
Yeah, and this year you're up for most amazing ass. You're going up against. So I like researched everyone's category because I was like, oh, who's like winning consistently in these categories? You know, Abella Danger is going for their fourth win in a row in this category.
Yeah, it's been kind of like an open joke now amongst some of us that like we are so far from being able to win because we're up against Abella. But honestly, I'm always just honored to be a part of it. Like I'm honored to be a part of a group that includes Abella Danger. So
For
that
real.
that is the win for me. Like
And now she's like having her Taylor Swift arc. I don't know if you know, but she's allegedly dating like this really known football player right now.
I
Yeah,
love,
who
I wish we had like a respectable porn TMZ where I could just like read light updates.
yeah. See, I'm also a very big college football fan being from the Midwest, so I'm like the moment I saw her in the stands, I was like, wait, are we having a crossover from like my two biggest interests, like porn and college football? And she's dating the quarterback of Miami who just
Hell
advanced to the
yeah.
quarterfinals. So like they didn't show her this week. Last week they showed her and then people freaked out because they're like, why are they showing Abella Danger?
Why not? She's one of the most famous people in the world.
Right? I think we need to have more of that. I think we deserve to have our own like Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce of porn. Like I think
We
100% needs
deserve
to happen.
it. We deserve our own little like celebrity moments and like little bits of tabloid funny headlines.
For sure. And not have it be a statement and be like, are we glamorizing sex work and blah 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 blah. Like let's leave that away.
Let's leave
So
this
yeah. So, what has this year looked for you in porn? Because you like honestly just getting back to AVN 2 years in a row, something most performers don't do. And like I know personally it's you have to like climb the mountain again and like get back into producing work and after, a successful year before, how has that been for you?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I spent much of, I guess, 2024 for gearing up for the
Yeah.
2025 awards, busting my ass doing
Hmm.
mainstream and really putting in all of this work for mainstream studios and not really like investing the time in my own content or even seeing the value in self-producing my own content because
Hmm.
I was so absorbed with mainstream. And then I think what changed for me this year is like I can still work to cement myself as a reputable brand and name in
Hmm.
mainstream while also starting to explore my own business endeavors and like really investing more time into my press, my PR, my marketing. This year, I pivoted from spending so much time working on like mainstream scenes to working on my own scenes to doing my own press and PR since I come from a PR background. I was able to land several magazine features, even a magazine cover this year. So I kind of like switched up the gears for what my priorities were. And I think it paid off, 2 years in a row nominated.
Yeah, that's huge.
I'm like really pleased because I didn't put out as many mainstream scenes this year
Hmm.
as I had in the year prior. I focused a lot more on fetish content. I focused a lot more on my own content. And I focused a lot more on becoming more personable and real to my fans. But yeah, I think it paid off. They obviously really rode for my ass because
Hell
not
yeah.
only did I
Literally.
yeah, not only did I get the AVN Award nom for Most Amazing Ass, but I got a Cammy Awards nomination for Best Butt. So obviously, whatever I've done this year has solidified my butt as a part of the industry, and I will take it.
Did you think of your ass as like that before? Were you like, this deserves to be nominated?
Well, never like that, but when I started camming very many years ago, I always used to say my ass is my best asset.
Hmm.
So I've always known that like if I have to ride on something, it's probably gonna like if I have to bank on something, it's gonna be my ass. But it felt really like affirming for my fans to do all the work to get me recognized.
For
I was
sure.
like, oh, nobody can tell me anything now.
Yeah. I feel like you need to do like the Regina George thing and like get it in like insurance for your ass now.
Literally,
Yeah.
two-time award nominated ass needs insurance.
Do you think you have the best ass in porn? Is
No,
Oh, okay.
never. I would never. Oh, I no. I think I have one of the goodest asses,
Good
but
at.
I would
Okay.
never say the best. There are too many icons and stars and legends and folks who have also invested like a lot more money and time into their fabulous derrieres. So like as much as I would love to take home a win, I am just honored to be amongst a list of performers who have some of the most spectacular asses in the world. Um, do I think I have the best ass in porn? No, not necessarily. Do I think I have some of the best riding skills? That's a different question. What can that
A
booty
new
do?
category needs to exist, I guess. Like,
Yeah, we need more categories.
but that is very true. Like sometimes I think I'm like, what if you could just like create a category that you were like, I would win that every fucking year,
That one would be the
right?
one.
Yeah.
I wish. I was just like kind of lamenting because I think it's AVN that doesn't have a best lesbian performer of the year.
They don't have a best girl performer anymore.
I don't think it's one of the award shows, so don't let me like put any shade on any award show's name. But there was one award show that I was like really eager to like try to apply like vie for girl.
Probably XBiz. So I have another
It
beef
might
with
have been actually
XBiz.
May's.
My category doesn't exist at XBiz. I'm in the BDSM category, and they don't have a best BDSM movie category at XBiz, which is crazy to me. How?
Very
Right?
talented and amazing and
I still got a nomination at XBiz this year. I don't need a hypo. I appreciate it, but I'm like, just continuity wise,
yeah.
people be watching BDSM.
Yeah, no, and that was my go-to porn, like, and we've talked about that. Like, I also want to hear about you. You got a nomination this year too, as well.
Yeah, I got one at XBiz for streamer, and then at AVN I have three. I
Okay,
have
okay.
BDSM, this podcast. So you also got, I have a nomination for that because you were on the podcast. So,
I love that.
and then also best streamer at AVN. So three, which it's been like 2 years in a row, which is crazy. Because like we both been in the industry for a minute, right? How long have you
Yeah,
been in porn?
in porn for 3 years now, but in the adult
Okay.
industry for 10, or the adult
Okay.
content creation industry.
Yeah. So like I had my peak when I was like 24, where I got like four at each award show or something. And now I'm like in my 30s and I'm having this like second peak and it's kind of fucking crazy.
It goes to show that consistency is key. Like
You
people
just
think that you age out of porn like once you hit 28
hmm
or something. But like if you love what you do and you create real erotic sensual art that people will get pleasure from, like you can have a long-lasting career in this industry and like it can evolve, right? Like so many performers I know are now behind the camera, are now writing, are
for
now
sure.
and it's just so cool to see you still have continued success and like
Thanks.
to see you like with such an awesome podcast that gives a space to just be real, like have that recognized. That is so amazing.
Yeah, I'm just like so glad that this has been a thing that can exist.
Yeah.
Like that, we can talk about the deep, great things about porn, but also like the fucked up things about it, and
Yes.
not have it just be like a magazine, be like, this is why porn needs to be abolished?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like so much more complex than that.
Yeah. And
And we just don't
people
have many platforms like that.
exactly. The people who are most equipped to talk about the nuances of porn are porn performers. It's actually interesting you say that because, like, I just announced that in February of next year, I'm launching a YouTube series slash podcast
Hmm.
myself called The Pleasure Paradox. And we're going to be looking at pleasure, desire, and shame, and really trying to figure out, like, how to break down some of the exploitative industry norms, the expectations, like being really honest and
Yeah.
about what it means to work in a business where the business is pleasure and how
Hmm.
that gets messy and complicated sometimes. So yeah, I love any additional spaces to talk more
Yeah.
about porn with real performers is so invited to me. I'm so excited to be able to like, curate a space like that in the next year.
Yeah, it's so important. And I feel like, especially before, like 10, 20 years ago, there wasn't a space for that.
Yeah.
The amount of information you get on a porn star would be like, oh, her interview after, which, like, I think those interviews directly after scenes are not necessarily the best idea.
No.
Because, like, I had one before where I had a threesome scene, and it was literally directly after the scene where I'm like, feel like I was still coming, and they're like, "So what
Yeah.
was that like?" I'm like, "Wait, we're in an interview right now?" And I'm like, "I'm
Where are
literally on the bed covered in cum right now," and you're being like, "Tell us about how that made you feel."
Yeah, how was that? No, I remember doing my post interview for my kink scene, and I was just like, I just got fucked in the most extreme way. Like, and now I have to be a comprehensible human being.
Also, like, I used to work at the Armory for like 4 years, and I feel like those scenes were so like I don't like how people are like, oh, I can tell everything happening is ethical because they put a camera in the model's face directly afterwards. It's like, is that really the most real way to capture what the model was feeling? Because it's like you still are risking, let's say you had a bad experience, you can't be like, oh, felt like I wasn't heard by the director or the company did this or that?
And the
Because then you're
director's
risking future
behind the
employment.
camera.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't know. I feel like that like post porn interview thing's weird a little bit.
Yeah, I like post-production surveys that are sent out after the scene is over when you can film them out at home, and like kind of report back on your experience anonymously because I
Hmm.
feel like that gives people time, one, to process what happened in the scene, and two, anonymous submission makes it easier for people to give honest feedback.
Yeah.
And three, yeah, like if you're especially doing a BDSM scene, you're probably still in subspace and
Yeah.
what you have to say is maybe not the most reliable form of information in that exact moment. And same with DOMs. Like DOMs are still in a different space too, and
Hmm.
like might not be able to register something as rational, well, not as rationally, but you know what I mean? Like it's just post-production surveys sent out are my favorite.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way to go. And also I think it's just these like longer form places for performers to really talk about our industry and not have it be, oh, I'm just gonna ask you one question and then you need to respond via email by a paragraph and I'm gonna publish that. Like that's just not, I think, the most cohesive reliable way to like actually talk about porn.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Especially because, like, yeah, it is so nuanced. Like, I was just having a conversation with industry colleague, and we were talking about like some of the nuances of porn and like performance and power. And I was like, I wish we could have a larger conversation about this, like a group conversation. Like, we all have such interesting opinions, and if we came together and talked more, like we could probably figure out how to actually improve our industry. Like,
For
but we
sure.
don't have like focus groups, you know, like
I think the industry's like came a long way, but I still think there's just more room for that. And I think it's also like interesting as I mentioned before we even started where I'm like this whole dialogue on like who's a porn star is so weird right now because like there's no one way to define it. Maybe in the 90s you could have where it was like, "Oh, there's 5 studios and there's 300 people in the industry." You know what I mean? But
yeah,
now it's like, are you a performer if you have 100 million views on a tube site? Because there's people who just have that and nothing else. Are
yeah,
you if you're getting nominated for awards? Is it if your movie's screening in like all these film festivals that are a really big deal in Europe and other parts of the world? Is it simply a money thing? Like, I just think there's no easy way to define that anymore. It's just so weird that this is now the dialogue by people who are very new to the industry without really the critical acclaim behind their careers, which is another whole weird thing.
hmm, yeah. I thought that that discourse was very, very interesting. First of all, like we can't use mainstream scenes as a barometer for porn star anymore. Like we
Yeah.
have porn is revolutionized. There are fan platforms, content platforms that allow you to self produce and self publish your own content. And those folks, those content creators, are in some cases lapping mainstream
For
porn.
real.
And like it seems so unfair to say, oh, well, because I spend 10 hours on set getting my hair and makeup done and sitting around waiting for the next
Yeah.
shot, like I'm more of a porn star than you. Like, it just seems so silly to me. And it's also like, why? Like, it doesn't block my bag if someone else calls themselves a porn star.
Hmm.
It doesn't block my blessings. So why would I be concerned? And like, for me, it took so long to get comfortable with the term porn star. Like, it took my loved ones really being like, you can use that term. Like, it's an affirmation, actually, it's a manifestation.
Hmm.
Like, you can say you are a porn star. And even still, I like veer towards saying porn performer.
Yeah, same. Like it's weird because like pop stars aren't going around me like I'm a pop star. They're like, oh, I make pop music, you know? Like
Yeah,
I don't think like Beyonce and Lady Gaga are like I'm a pop star,
I'm a
you know?
superstar.
Yeah, you know, like and like also with what that girl specifically was saying was like, well, porn stars are like Riley Reid or like Angela White or Jenna Jameson. It's like that's the very peak. Like there's
Yeah, that's
one
like
every
literally
generation.
0.25% of the industry is
Not
are like
even. It's just
that. Like,
right now it's just Angela White, which is like when I was doing all the research for this year's AVN, do you know Angela White has been nominated for Performer of the Year every year since 2017? Like no one else does that. Everyone else is like 1, 2 years drop off. Even like really like big name like Hall of Fame performers like Sasha Grey was nominated like 2, 3 years.
that's wild.
And she won three in that span of time, Angela White did. And it's just like when you look at who that is, it's like there's not gonna be another her until probably 10 years,
No,
if
and
ever.
it's so unfair for us to compare the rest of the industry to like the Angela Whites, to like the Violet Myers, to like, these to Kazumi, like these
Yeah.
folks who have built these empires and who are very much like, in my opinion, like the exception to the rule. Like most people who get started in porn don't even make it past their first 2 years, let
For
alone
sure.
make it to that level of mainstream success. And it's also like that success goes so much more beyond like their performance. Like it is teams operating behind
Yep.
them that are making sure that their business, their brand exceeds. And there's nothing against that. But most porn stars or porn performers,
Hmm.
foreign actors don't have the same level of institutional support, the same team,
Hmm.
the same resources. And also, there's just the luck of the draw. Like
Yeah,
in this industry, I think there is so much of the luck of the draw.
a
Like,
1000%.
yeah.
It's about being around the right time with the right director, or you're making the right content that fits into industry trends, or you're doing the right thing, or know how to word a press release that AVN will run it immediately. Like, there's
Hmm.
a lot of things that are just, doesn't matter if you're the best performer in the world. If you don't know how to execute these small things, no one is going to know what you're doing.
Yeah. And that has been something that I have been like really focused on this year is like, yeah, if nobody knows what I'm doing, then nobody knows what I'm doing. Like, that's why I focus so much on press this year. Like, yeah, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. Like so much of our building our success and our brand is like 12 different full-time jobs.
Yep.
And yeah, for some folks, they're able to outsource 12 different full-time jobs. But I think that's what makes it even more iconic when self-booking or, self-producing performers
Hmm.
like manage to find themselves grouped in the same leagues as the Abella Dangers or
Yeah, for sure.
Whites, like
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's the truth, and that's like what I think that whole porn star thing kind of misses is because it thinks like there's only one kind of success. But then you go to AVN and there's a million different body types, and that's why I like to talk about like the Olympics of porn because there's people doing things you don't know exist in porn. I've been in porn for like 12 years. Every year I go to AVN, I learn about a new section of the industry that I'm just like, I had no idea that existed. And there's all these people who've been working their entire fucking careers, 12 years, 15 years, and they make it to one AVN. And that's the peak, you know?
yeah,
And that's kind of the norm.
that is something that I've had to remind myself a lot, like because comparison is the thief of joy, and
Hmm.
like I am very quick to compare myself to girls who got started around the same time as me, who have similar amounts of tattoos as me. But then I have to like really remind myself, like, it's not about comparison. Like, it's just like everybody has their own journey. And sometimes those journeys are harder than others.
For
Like,
sure.
yeah.
And I think it's just even when you look at like other award shows in the entertainment industry, and you're like, okay, well, who's winning every year? Taylor Swift, right? Then you look at
Mhm.
the other girls in those categories and you're like, they're still valid artists. They're still important. Like
Mhm.
a Charlie XCX or Lana Del Rey, they might not be winning, but that doesn't negate that. And I
That
think in
doesn't,
porn, there's a
yeah.
lot of that mindset of like, well, if you're not Angela White or Riley Reid winning 20 awards in a single season, you know,
Yeah.
then you don't have anything. It's just not the case.
That is such an interesting, I think you're right. That's such an interesting, like, misconception we have in the industry,
Hmm.
right? Like, that you need to have like 4 awards under your belt for it to actually matter. But like every time I get nominated, I tell my partner, I'm like, the win for me is being nominated. Like
Hmm.
the fact that there are fans and the industry sees me as a part of this league, this big
Yeah.
league, like that is all I've ever wanted. And of course, a trophy would be nice.
Yeah, right? I'm
Like,
like,
but
I'm
like to
like,
be real, like I'm not naive to the ways
mhm.
that these shows work, to the ways that this industry works. And it very much does take institutional backing to see a win.
Or even to get nominated, like, there
Yeah,
has to
even
be a
to get
level of
nominated.
like that AVN picks up both of our press releases is a thing that I think there's a lot of people in porn who get into a mindset of like, well, I hate award shows, none of that matters. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean anything. And in some way, it doesn't necessarily mean if you're a successful porn performer or a successful sex worker, but there is a level of can you get into this world that does, kind of write the history of our industry when people look back in 40 years and be like, oh, who was nominated that year? Who
Mhm.
are the peers of these performers? Like, that's what's going to be looked at in
Mhm.
in the future. And I feel like it's such a skill to be making stuff that's relevant to these like major industry things like AVN, XBiz, who've been around, since both of us were literally born.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
I think, yeah, and I also think there is something to say about like recognition from your industry, whether or not that's
hmm
your peers or like some prestigious institution. Like for me, just like getting a recognition from any kind of like official industry entity,
hmm
or even like, my fans all this week have been like my top 20 performers this year, and like even getting tagged in those like lists
hmm
is just like those are the wins for me. Like
for sure.
as long as the art and the work that I'm putting out is landing for my fans and is something that my industry is like, not ashamed to claim, then
Yeah.
I feel pretty okay. Like,
Yeah, that you're making work that's relevant to
yeah,
kind of what's going on. And like when I got into porn, I was definitely way more in the queer porn world. That I'm like, queer porn's great and all, but like if you're not having influence outside of that, I didn't feel like there was that much about it then because I'm like, it's cool to make all this indie stuff and have all these politics and stuff, but if you're just keeping that inside your bubble, is that really worth doing? And that was like my whole drive with why I always thought AVN was important. And people like Soy and Sasha Grey were so important to me because they brought those ideals to mainstream porn.
absolutely. No. And that's something that it took me like a long time to even unpack, like because I got started in porn 3 years ago and I
hmm
felt like I very much had to like keep my mouth shut and do all the mainstream boy girl
hmm
stuff and do all the anal and do all the extreme things. And then, 3 years in now, I'm like prioritizing queer and trans porn. I'm prioritizing indie porn.
hmm
Like I'm prioritizing like making the content that makes me happy, because yeah, I felt like I paid my dues. Like I like
Yeah.
I established myself, I built a fan base, and now like I hope that this year I'm able to venture out and like sustain my fan base while I do it. But I think there is something to be said. Yeah, like mainstream is changing, but queer and indie porn is still kind of on the fringe.
Yeah. I think it's like interesting because like especially when I got into it, you know, 12 years ago, it was still very much like my goal was like in 5 years, if I can get one nomination, it's like crossed over to mainstream, that's it. And now
Mhm.
it's like you can really be consistent in the indie porn world and, you know, I mean, you're no one's making it rich in porn anymore, which
Yeah,
Cody
thank
Moore and
you.
I just talked about in the last
Thank
um
you.
but yeah, I said Cody Moore was just the last performer on right before this interview, and we were talking about that where we're like actually talking about the rates where it's like even if you're doing mainstream porn, you're getting like $1,200 for a day's work, and it's a long fucking day.
A long
And
day.
1,200 is like generous. It's usually 1,000, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Like
It's
the
just
rates have not gone up, but everything else has.
yeah, and it's just like you have to have a deeper reason behind what you're doing. Like you have to have something else why you're in this industry. If you're in it just for money, you can make better money other places.
Yeah, at this point. And I've seen a lot of girls retire and seek out vanilla jobs
hmm
because, yeah, things have changed. And especially like with the state of our economy and like kind of
Yeah.
the financial squeeze people are feeling, like it doesn't like surprise me. And it's part of why I am also pivoting and thinking more about, how do I diversify the available offerings I have for my fans beyond just mainstream scenes?
hmm
How do I start producing more solo fetish content that really speaks to me? How do I start live streaming more and like create a regular schedule? Like, just anything. And then that's also why I'm starting my YouTube series, is also we're being pushed to do safe for work content now from every
Yeah.
platform, so I guess I don't have much of a choice that way.
Yeah, it's you just have to be so many different things now where yeah, in the 90s it was like you can just be a porn star. If you're one of those 300 girls who was doing porn, you're making bank, you know? Where now
Yeah,
it's like you really have to have a hustle and, really have a reason for why you want to be in this industry other than just it's easy money, you know?
Yeah, no, you have to do it for the love of the game, that's for sure.
That's literally what came out in the last podcast too. It was like it's really love of the game now where it's like you have to really want to do it. And also I think like mainstream porn's gotten a lot better. Like when I started, it was just a guy with a camera. And I feel like if you look at the stuff that like Caden Cross is doing, Ricky Greenwood, Susie Q, and Michael
Mhm.
Vegas, like I just feel like there's so much good mainstream porn now that's like truly artistic and
Yes.
also super hot and not like pretentious and shit.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think that porn is starting to be done differently, and I think our industry is changing, and the more we keep our foots on their necks, the more it will change, you know?
Yeah, what did performing really look like for you this year? You kind of got away from mainstream. What was kind of your goals this year? And yeah, were you traveling a lot? Were you mostly shooting most of it in Vegas?
I was back and forth between LA about once every month for
Hmm.
about a week. I spent a lot of time doing fetish work, working with different creators that I was interested in, doing content collabs. I still did some mainstream shoots. I had a few mainstream shoots released this year, but I really spent a lot of time on press, marketing, and public appearances. So for the first time, I did the whole like award show circuit. I attended the teas. I attended the XRCOs. I attended Urban X. I
Wow,
did the Porn
all
Crush
of
pool
them.
party. So I really just tried to make myself as present as possible to be like, all right, I had a great year. I want to make sure people know my name,
Hmm.
and that now that I have the work to show, that people know the name associated. So I really just pivoted and spent a lot of time working on building my brand and also starting to venture out and figure out what kind of content I wanted to create for myself and how I want to define whatever it is that I build for myself this year, and what that's going to include.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like this was a really like a building year for you.
Yeah, it was definitely like a little bit more behind the scenes building and figuring out like, okay, now that I've done most of what I wanted to do when I set out in this career, crossed off a lot of my bucket list, like where do I go from now and what are my new dreams? What are my new goals? And I'm still in the middle of like New Year's Eve reflections and stuff. I
Mm,
did them all through January. So I have plenty of new intentions to set.
yeah, I think that you're in like such an important point because like I feel like your first 2 years of porn, usually if you're still in it, you reach most of your goals,
Yeah.
and then it's like okay, I'm here still. There's not a lot of people who started with me anymore. Like most
They're
people
gone.
leave pretty fast, and it's like, what's the next thing, And that you've like really found that, I think is really
Yeah.
powerful.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where this year goes. And I already have a few mainstream shoots lined up this year that I'm
Nice.
super stoked on. So don't think that I'm running away or not like returning to mainstream, but I definitely am prioritizing myself, my own content, my own visions more than I ever have before. And that feels like a really good rebrand, pivot, all of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, when you got nominated this year, were you going in expecting to be nominated, or were you kind of up in the air about it?
I was definitely up in the air about it. I felt really nervous, like there hadn't been as many mainstream releases this year. There were a few, but I felt like, I just maybe my fans didn't feel like I had the work to show for it, and I felt really insecure. And I share all of this because I feel like the more we're actually honest about
For sure.
our vulnerabilities that maybe we get somewhere. But yeah, and then I was really, really honored, pleased, grateful to see that my fans put in so much work to still get me nominated. And I was excited because it was a category that sure I was vying for, but it felt more than ever like they chose that category. They
Yeah.
chose Like it wasn't like last year when I was really like, I want hottest newcomer, like I was like, I really, really, really want hottest newcomer. This year, I did really want most amazing ass, but it was just a different tone. And I felt like that made it even more special that, like, my fans really do believe in me and want to see me get my flowers. And that really meant the most.
So this is your second AVN, right?
This is my fourth AVN attending, I think.
Second time being
Because I
nominated.
attended one at the very, very beginning of my career. And then this is my second AVN being nominated.
How is it feeling going into your second one compared to your first year? Because I feel like your first year, like for me, I was like so wide-eyed. I'm like, oh my God, there's all these porn stars here who I know and look up to. It just felt so massive, you know? Did you feel
Yeah,
that last year?
I feel like very prepared for it to be very different this year. Every year I've gone, it has looked very different. The amount of fans and fan interactions I have grows every year. Like, kind of the networking experience that I'm able to access grow every year. I don't think it ever has become less overwhelming for me, but I'm a little bit neurospicy, so I don't think it ever will be less overwhelming. But, this year I feel like I'm just excited to see how it has changed and like to get to see if there are more fans that are excited to see me. Like, I already have a few folks in my DMs like, I'm so eager.
Aw.
But I'm really excited to just see how it looks different. It's looked different every year.
For real, it really has. Last year's red carpet step I kind of liked, where it was like in the middle thing, and it was
Hmm.
just so different. I can't believe they still haven't named the musical guest yet.
I agree. I wanted to be Megan Thee Stallion so bad.
I wish. I think Glorilla would fit really well in like the
Glorilla
level.
would,
Yeah,
yes.
would be really. I feel like Sexy Red's too hood for AVN. I
I
feel
know,
like
not
AVN
so
would be like, we can't do it.
a sexy red would be perfect though. She did Born by the River.
I was I went to a New Year's party yesterday and someone it was like a whole family thing. We got invited to our Japanese friends New Year's party and with New Year's Day and they celebrate like instead of the Lunar New Year, like in China, they celebrate it on January 1st. So it was like the whole family, traditional Japanese food, and then
Oh,
someone did karaoke to Sexy Red.
oh,
At the family thing, I'm like, whoa, this would not fly at any family event of mine, but it flew
oh,
there.
a different kind of family for sure.
Yeah, I was like, wow, cool. I'm assuming this isn't traditional, probably not, but
Yeah, this doesn't feel like an ancestral practice. And
yeah. But yeah, I think it is like just so interesting when you're going into like your second, third year where it is starting to feel different. Where that first year, the first year I attended, I was also nominated, and it was such a whirlwind. Like I
yeah,
can't believe that still.
it's like it's a surreal experience. Like there's so much going on. When you have fans walk up to you, like that feels surreal. When
Hmm.
you meet your like idols in the industry, that feels surreal.
Who have you met that's really been? Because oh yeah, we didn't talk before last year. I mean, we talked before last year at AVN. Did you meet anyone like at the awards?
At the awards that I was super geeked about.
Yeah, that you like had a moment with.
I met I think their name was Lady O, like a Dom based out of
Hmm.
LA, that I was super, super excited to meet and connect with. And then I'm trying to think of other like folks that I met where I was like, oh my God, this is the best day.
Um,
I don't know. There were a lot of people I bumped into and met. I got to see a lot of good friends, but I feel like at the award shows this last year, I met people that I had been really starstruck by. for the first time, and that was the more fangirly
Yeah, I got
moment.
to talk to Joanna Angel. She was like at the bar alone during the award show. And I was like, hey, I met you at my first AVN like 15 years ago, and you don't remember me, but like you made me feel like I like from being an emo girl that I could like do gangbang porn, and I really appreciate you so much. And she's like, I can't believe anyone here knows who I am still. I'm
Oh,
like, girl, you should.
everybody.
Everyone should.
Yeah, for real. No, don't you ever worry, Joanna Angel.
Yeah, and she's like, I didn't even know if I should go. I'm like, no, girl, you should go.
You're a legend.
For real, like, yeah, that was like a cool one. That was like probably my biggest one last year. Because she was at the bar alone, and
Gotta do it.
I was like, I have to. I had to be like, I'm so sorry. Is it okay if I talk to you for a second?
Just 1 second, please.
Yeah. So what would it mean to win this year? Like, let's say you end um Abella Danger's streak.
Yeah,
Her quarterback boyfriend has to console her afterwards.
yeah.
And you win. What would that mean?
For me, I think it would just exist as further affirmation that I'm on the right track
For
and
sure.
that I am divinely aligned and protected. And I think the nomination did that in and of itself, but a win, whenever the win happens, because I'm in this career for the long haul. So whenever my win happens, I know that it will just feel like the moment was a long time coming, it's deserved, and it just is further proof that I'm right where I need to be.
Have you won at any award show yet?
I have not won at any of the award shows, so I've
You're
had
gonna get
7
one.
noms and for like I think 4 different award shows. But I really do think that with all of the work that I'm planning to put in this year, that 2027 might be my big year.
You're
So
gonna get one. Whether it's next year or in like 3 years, you're eventually gonna get one. Like if you
I
consistently get
thank
nominated, it's gonna happen.
Thank you. I really want it. I do. And I think we all, if the industry keeps changing and we keep working consistently and busting our asses, and improving the quality of our work, I think all of
Hmm.
us will eventually get the win we're looking for.
Yeah, I think you definitely will. I think that's the thing about this industry, or like anything, like whether you're making music, film, if you just keep making stuff despite all the bullshit, like
Mm-hmm.
eventually people are gonna see it. And I feel like that's like such an
Yep.
underrated quality in this industry is being able to weed through the discourse, not being like, oh, if it wasn't for this, I would be a household name or whatever.
Yeah.
That girl has me blocked, so I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I had a moment right when I said that. I was like, is this girl gonna come at me? And I'm like, wait, she's not gonna be there. It's fine.
You won't even see it.
She's not even nominated. It's okay. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. But so let's say you win on AVN Saturday. What's your celebration plan? Like, what are you doing?
My celebration plan would be some kind of multi-course dinner with friends and family. I don't often do like tasting menus or like multi-course meals, but I'm obsessed with them. I feel very like high class bougie
Yeah,
when
it's
I
so
do it.
fun.
So I would definitely want to just take a group of friends and family out, have a really nice meal.
But I mean, like 12 o'clock, like 12:30.
Oh, 12:30 p.m. or a.m. that
Yeah,
night.
yeah, right after. Like
Oh,
you're
I am
leaving the
taking
theater.
shots at the bar outside the
Hell
theater.
yeah.
I am taking green tea shots. I am raging and partying somewhere, and then I'm having a family dinner, friends dinner the next day.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I want the
The
yeah,
juicy.
the af because like if I win an AVN ever, it's gonna be like I won a championship. It's gonna
Yep, no,
be
I want a belt.
mul when Story came on the podcast, I was like, if you could change one thing about the industry, what would you change? And she was like, instead of trophies, they should give us championship belts.
Period. Aligned. We're aligned.
And I'm like, that is actually really cool if you think about it. Like, I'm glad I have a few trophies and shit, but like also, if I had like 3 championship belts, that'd be a
Yeah,
lot fucking cooler.
that would definitely look a lot more neat.
Yeah, right? Well, where can everyone find you on all the socials, all your website? Plug anything you want, basically. Future podcast.
You can find me on Twitter at the no at Nina Nova XOXO. And then you can find all my links at allmylinks.com/Nina Nova XOXO. And you'll find all the announcements about the Pleasure Paradox, my new YouTube series and podcast channel coming on my main Twitter. You'll find all of my new content being released on my main Twitter. So again, that's at Nina Nova XOXO. And I hope you all join me for this journey.
Well, huge congrats on your nomination. Hopefully, celebration afterwards. Either of us win. We have to go ham afterwards.
We
So
have to go ham. Find me.
also, like, I'm not trying to jinx it, but someone eventually from this podcast. This is my 5th year doing AVN episodes. So far, we haven't won any. So someone has to come through. Like, just
Someone
numbers wise, that has to happen.
If it's not this year, I promise you I'll do all the work I can this year to make it happen next year.
Okay, then you have to come on again next year because we have to
Okay.
have a winner on here. We did have someone who came on and then the next year they got into the Hall of Fame. So that's the
That's
closest we
big.
got. But if we can get like a pure winner right now, that would be terrific.
That'd be
So we'll see.
awesome.
But yeah, thank you so much and best of luck in Vegas.
Thank you so much.
Bye everyone.